Hello. Mic check. Looks good. Hope everyone is doing okay today. Okay. It looks like we'll be starting soonish. So, Claus, hope you're doing well. Interesting game. This is a really big move right here. Why did bats go live? Like there wasn't enough people live. Now bats went live too. Lots of ghost streams, which is good, but it also means we're splitting the viewers so many different ways. All right, I am in the go category, yeah? Yes. All right, I think we're good to go ahead and start.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Okay, I was just reviewing the notes from the last lesson, end game, and then cuts in the middle game. So connect problems, cut problems, a little bit of
Yeah.
Quantum Life and Death.
Yeah, and I've been working on that a lot.
Okay.
So
Let's see
I do
where
have
we're
a
at.
NAOL game from yesterday that might be good for you to look at.
Okay, let me see if I'm reviewing that tonight or not.
Well, I don't think so. I looked at what they're reviewing and I don't think I made the cut, so
Oh, okay, then we can look at it. I just didn't want
yeah.
to waste a review if we're reviewing it twice.
Yeah, I get you. Let's see. Let me find it. Here it is. Okay. It's a different account of mine. I was Kinnison in this one.
Okay. Oh no, it looks like you went down to 13Q from 12Q.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm doing my best.
Yeah. All right, so let's figure out why 4.5 is a good game. Your kin is in. Oh, what server is this? Is this not OGS?
This is an OGS match that I saved in my Star A Star account. Like for some reason,
I got
Lego.
it.
Yeah, for some reason,
Hey, Smigo
Lego.
Dragon.
Yeah,
I recognize the dragon. Okay. You said Lego just has issues with game records?
it's for some reason it is like associated with my Kinnison account that I don't use anymore, and so whenever I go to like play a match through the site, it there's no way to change it to associate it with my new account. So I don't know. I just have to use my old account when I do NAOL
Okay.
matches. So whatever. But do
Which
do
one
I
are
need
you
to?
playing ranked games? Can you see my screen?
I guess I needed to click on that link you shared.
Yeah, that will show you my screen.
Okay, I've got it now.
All right. Which account are you playing on currently? Playing your ranked games on?
Star A Star. That's the one I use.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm not going to worry about that one. So there's a lot of resignations.
Mm-hmm.
Typically we want to figure out why we're resigning so much. Usually we want the resignations to be maybe like 25% of our losses, but it looks like you're about 75, 80% of your losses are
Okay.
resignations.
Usually I resign when I'm super far behind or some big group just got killed or something like that. But
Okay.
maybe I should fight it out more.
Okay, I don't care about a bot, so let me just check what the graph says real quick.
I do remember one time in the last couple of weeks that I resigned, and afterwards it turned out I was winning. But other
Gotcha.
than that, usually it's just when I'm super far behind. So
Oh, you self-Atari'd and then
yeah, that was a goose to Suji, right?
you kind of goosed yourself, but yeah.
I goosed myself. Yeah.
Okay, that one I don't care about. That one's just an accident. Okay. This is super early. No, this one's bad. You shouldn't resign this early. You're only 15 points down. That's not bad.
Okay, I'll try to stick it out better.
If you resign, I want this to be like 35 or 40. If you resign under like 40 points, then probably you are misjudging the board or something.
Especially at my level too, right? Because there's big swings in the
Well, that's why it's
double-digit
40 versus like for me, I would say like 25, right?
Yeah.
So 40 point can swing still. It's very uncomfortable and you're not going to like it a lot, but you want to be able to finish a game that, and I would consider it close if it's 35 or less, simply because one mistake can change 30 points. So you're only one mistake out of your opponent from coming back. So all you have to do is just play strong and be patient, and if there's an opportunity, it's your job to catch it. And it's their job not to give you an opportunity, which is easier said than done.
Yeah.
So this one I don't like as a resignation because it's too close. This one is also too close because it's 19. You could have easily finished this game. It's almost done and everything. So unless there's some giant fight or something, this one could have easily been finished and just been within 20 points. This one, you resigned when it's dead even.
Yeah, that I think that's the one I was thinking about, where it showed that I was barely winning, even though I resigned. But it was just a bad day.
Yeah. I think you like that resign button too much. That's what I'm learning. This one you're winning. Yeah, this one you're winning. This is probably the one you're thinking of.
Maybe. Well, I will consciously make an effort to actually count and not resign. If
you don't have to count perfectly at this level, but you do need to know if it's like obviously 40 points versus not obviously 40 points. Yeah, you like the resign button too much. You're banned from resigning until it's 40. Just play it out. And sometimes we're just going to have to learn how to play from a bad position.
Okay.
Okay, so this one you won by 4.5.
This was just yesterday. So I've been just in the last week or so, I've been trying to apply the Colossi approach more consciously, like actually stopping and be like, okay, I'm going through the steps of it, and it's been helping a lot. So
okay, good.
I need to work on that better.
Are you doing Go problems every day?
In the last week or so, after our first lesson, I had kind of a month or two break and didn't play any Go, and then I got back into it, and I ranked myself down by having bad habits, and then I was like, oh wait, I was supposed to be doing the Colossi approach.
Yeah, you gotta
anyway.
you gotta apply what you learned from the lesson, not just stop playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you are white. Immediately this is define the Colossi approach. You've been approached, you want to respond with either here or something. So don't ignore approaches. Because 1 versus 1, it means you have a weak group, and we play defense first. So you want to think about a base or something. Because if your opponent goes here, now you have a very obvious weak group. And while this is possible, it's not the Colossi approach. You want to go here because you already have a low stone right here. But it's not a huge deal.
I had just heard somewhere that, and I think you're going to tell me it's because I'm more of a beginner, so I shouldn't do this, but I had heard that enclosing a corner is bigger than responding to an approach move. So I was like, oh, I better enclose my corner first, but it's probably too complicated for my level, I guess. But
approaching Shamari can be, this is more stylistic. Shamari can be bigger than an approach to a star point, which is also one of the reasons a lot of people like to 3-3. But it can be bigger. However, you have to know how to deal with this efficiently enough that they don't make up the difference of that Shamari.
Right.
So if you don't know the attachments and the diagonals, if you don't know how to make the influence, then you don't really need to be ignoring approaches. And the reason I say don't do it is because I don't even think you know all of the variations, right? You don't even know how to deal with this one, right? So I don't think you know all the variations. There's this, there's this, there's this. There's this, and then you have the basics of this one, and then this one. Which
I've seen that one.
Yeah, there, and then there. You have a lot of stuff. But if you want to learn this one, you can. But if we're talking Colossi approach, it's not Colossi approach.
Okay.
Colossi approach is a style, and that would not be that style specifically.
Yeah. I want to learn to be more defensive first, like that. I think it's would help me be more stable.
Okay.
So yeah.
Don't forget, even if you want to fight a little bit, don't forget that pincers are still following the Colossi approach. Because you can still pincer in the Colossi approach just fine. I just don't want you to ignore and get 2 versus 1 situation.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to pincer if you want to fight. This one's a little awkward. So what are we doing? So for each move, we can ask, why are we responding, right? So if I go attack now, your corner is uncomfortable, right?
Correct.
Okay. Here you're fixing a cutting point, and then if I go attack now, would you say that you like your corner?
No, it's dead.
It's not dead. It is not dead, but your opponent gets influence on both sides. And usually we don't like giving them influence on both sides. But this is technically alive.
Okay.
I
did do the jump. I jumped to 03, I believe, and then I.
Yeah. So now, if we ignore, what's the issue? Why did you respond? What are they going to do?
I was just trying to follow the steps. Like, do I have any weak groups? I don't think so. I've got solid corner positions. So I was like, do they have a weak group? And I thought they kind of do. Where I played there was trying to split them so that they would have a weak group. So, but maybe it was.
So you are trying to cut these 2 off?
From the circle one.
Okay. That's an interesting idea, but I think this one's much more obviously weak because it's 1 stone versus 2 stones. Also, black is 2 lines away or 3 lines away, and here black is like 1,000,000 lines away. So I think the top is more obviously a weak group. So I think that's where you want to go.
And maybe I should hone in on only the weakest group instead of just any weakness. Yeah.
Yes, ideally.
Yeah. And in the biggest area too, I guess.
Honestly, it's arguable that you should have pincered immediately because they played right next to your Shamari, and offense comes before big move. So it's arguable that you should have done this first.
Okay, yeah.
But the right side being an empty side is very large. So that's why it's kind of okay. But technically speaking, we can be even more aggressive right now because they are so close to our Shamari. They can't make a 2-space jump anywhere because you're in the way. So that means pincering them prevents the base. But here's fine. You played an approach, which is fine because big move. But the moment you're okay, you need to go back and play that thing that we were wanting to play in the first place.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see if you actually cut and follow through with your idea. I'm not following your logic. I would have expected either a block or a push.
Yeah, I didn't see the right continuation there, so I was like, well, I guess I'll attack something else that's weak.
Well, hold on. How did you think it was going to go when you played right here? How did you think it was going to go?
I thought he was going to cap me, and then I was planning on going underneath his stone.
This is a block, not a cap.
Okay. I thought he was going to block me.
A cap is 1 space above. Just that way, it's important you know the correct terminology, because when I say it, I want you to understand what I mean.
I understand. Okay, so he blocks me, and my like beginner reading out, I was like, okay, he's gonna block me, and I'll go at K3, and it'll like totally undercut his weak group. That's kind of what I was thinking was gonna happen. But
no, because this is too many cutting points on your end.
Yeah.
No, I do have a lot of cutting points here, and even then, if we take into account this, yeah, you have a lot of weakness here.
So it's just it was just an experiment and it didn't work.
Gotcha. The shape here, you want to consider this shape a knight's move. This is a large knight's move. There is a saying that you do not push a knight's move unless you are going to cut it. If you don't cut the knight's move, however, here or here, if you don't cut the knight, don't push the knight. Does that make sense?
Okay, just Inefficient.
It's not inefficient. It's Ajikeshi, which means you are helping your opponent fix their shape. You are helping them fix any weaknesses. The more stones they have to defend their position, the stronger they are. So less stones means more weakness, more Aji. So you don't want to give them stones to defend themselves unless you're going to cut it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. So if you wanted to play on the bottom, probably you should have played here directly then. Because that was your follow-up, right? Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to do that, you should have done it directly. But I think the bigger issue is you didn't attack the top, which doesn't have a base. Okay. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why are we ignoring? We're in the middle of a fight. Is A okay? Is B okay?
Good question. That's why I'm talking to you. Okay, so so I'm leaving my own weak group, and okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Well, also what I'm seeing here is you played this, you had an idea, they didn't go along with your idea, so you ignored it and played something else, then they didn't go along with your idea, and you ignored it and played something else. You're not following through with any of your ideas, which consistency is more important than the best move. Even if you play like the second or third best move, if you do it consistently with like solid logic or fundamentals, even if it's not the best move, it'll still get you a good result over versus trying to play the perfect move and Tanukiing all the time, and then you have weak groups everywhere, right? So this is very speedy, but if you're trying to play defense first, it doesn't really make sense that you've played these two moves because you could have just approached. So if you play something, I kind of want to see you follow it up with something. Like there should be a meaning. If your opponent ignores you, you should punish at least one move. Now, if they ignore you again, now you can ignore because you're already a move ahead of them. So don't give them like 3 Tanukis, but if they ignore you once, you want to punish, and if they ignore you twice, then you can ignore. Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, this was kind of an important move because you thought they were going to do that and you were going to get make a base, take a base.
Right.
Yeah, but they don't have to because this is both players' bases, so it's 2 bases for 1 move. Yeah. Shoulder hit is possible. Technically, you want to lean on the kick when they ignore. But this is a little difficult to play at this level, I think. But shoulder hit's fine. You're playing defense. Oh, touch Novi. Touch Novi. They touched you, you got a Novi. If they touch a single stone, if a single stone gets touched, you need to Novi. So here you
my failure to do that actually comes back to bite me later. So, yeah. Okay.
So this is defense first again. You really don't like following up your moves. Could have just done that. If you wanted to do that, you could have just done that. But you did this, so I want to see a follow-up somewhere. I think what I would like to see is something like this. Or maybe like this.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of like, I better make a quick base, and then I've got to punish him. No. Okay.
A base means you have the foundation. If black is right here, there's no foundation right here that white has. Because black is taking it away. So don't mistake this for a base, because a base means you're strong and you can fight with it. This is definitely not a base, which means you're floating, because you're floating without eye space, which means you don't want to attack something with it. You want to defend something. You want to defend it. It's an important distinction because if you look here, black has a base because this is black's foundation. White does not have a base. So what you don't want to do is be like, I'm going to attack black. That's going to backfire because black has a base. Yeah, black has a base and he's strong. You don't have a base, you're weak, and you're trying to attack. That's going to backfire. So it's important to understand the difference.
Okay.
This one is technically an elephant's eye, which is a diagonal 1 space jump. Elephant's eyes have cutting points right in the center.
Yeah.
So that means you ran with a cuttable shape.
Okay. So the better one was the attach, like you showed before.
The
That's
attach
the
is technically also cuttable. But this is where you have to learn one exception at a time. The kick has a weakness right here that you can honestly just get influence if you want. You could also Hane right there, and there is a lot of complications that can arise. But the idea is you want to remember that the shape weakness of the kick is this move, and then you study the variations as you get stronger and play it. However, this is not one of the basic shapes because this is a knight's move, and knight's moves are cuttable. It is your job to learn why this doesn't work, which it doesn't work because of the liberty issues. Why is this not possible for black to do? Because we did run with a knight's move. Why is the cut not good? And that's where study comes in and practice, and we ask these questions. So we're not going to blindly follow the basic that if I kick, then this is the punishment. We're going to say this is the punishment, but there's a cutting point. So why doesn't the cutting point work? We always want to ask, like, why do the cutting points not work? Why is this not a 1-point jump, right? A 1-point jump is very basic. So that's where you have to learn one exception to our basics at a time, one at a time.
Okay.
So here, I want to see you fixing your cut.
Fix the cut.
This
kind of tried to fix it there, but yeah, it was
don't be
too
fancy.
far.
Don't be fancy. Just fix it directly. Direct fixes are almost always better. Also, notice how black's cornerstones are now getting very surrounded. That's because black is not defending the corner.
Is the value of surrounding? I mean, at this point, even if he's surrounded, he could still live in the corner.
Yeah.
But the influence is worth it. The power on the outside towards the center is worth the surrounding of sealing him in. You know.
No, you're forgetting that we're trying to connect. That's all we're doing.
Okay.
It just happens to also be surrounding black.
Okay.
So we're kind of connecting in Sente because if black does nothing, then we can get a little bit dangerous in the corner. Maybe make black a little uncomfortable in that corner.
So for now, just forget about power and influence and all that stuff I always hear about, and just connect and keep your group strong.
Power and influence comes from even exchanges. You are a weak group. You don't really have the right to power and influence when you're being attacked. You have to defend yourself efficiently. They're the ones getting power and influence because they're the attacker. So your job is to try to prevent that, not get it yourself, because you're the weak group.
Okay.
Now we're getting into reading territory, and I'm not sure how much you see, but usually my assumption of how much my students see is very inaccurate.
I'm getting better at reading. I'm definitely not, anything special, but I've been doing a lot of Senego.
Do you remember what you were seeing here?
I was seeing that I could threaten the cut, and if he connected, I would play at P14 and not get sealed in. Or I could see that I could still get cut, but
so why not just play here in the first place?
I just thought Atari sounded fun.
It's not Atari.
Attempt threatening a cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sente moves are usually bad. Because remember, the more stones they have, the less Aji they have. So
just like that situation at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So when do we want to use the Aji? Because if we always keep you playing the Sente moves and fix the Aji, and that's bad, then we should never fix the Aji. We should never poke the Aji. We should never Sente the Aji, right? So when do you think you should do it? What makes sense?
I have noticed recently that I can use like forcing moves and maybe sacrifice a stone to like save a group or like push through an opening or things like that. That's what I can think of at the moment.
You use Aji to accomplish your goal in Sente.
Yeah.
That's when
I've
you use
been
Aji.
doing that a little bit.
So,
Yeah.
if your goal right now is to connect your stuff, how does this help you connect your stuff? Like, how did that
Right.
help you connect?
No, it didn't at all.
Then that's bad Sente.
Yeah. It did give him bad shape, but other than
That,
that,
I'm not worried about that. Unless you're going
yeah.
to play some sort of squeeze to Suji or something, I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Shape means shape is a way of movement, right? So it doesn't matter how ugly it is, black is cutting you apart. So empty triangle or not, you're getting cut, and this is not good for you.
Yeah.
So the empty triangle is less important than the fact that you're getting cut apart. So even if they move ugly, if they're still like cutting your leg off, it doesn't matter how pretty they are. That
Yeah.
you're losing a leg. You need to stop that from happening.
That's a good analogy. You know what I think it is? I think I've watched too many YouTube videos and I have all these competing like ideas and stuff floating around in my mind. So while I'm
Context
yeah,
is also
anyway.
very important because I could tell you one thing, someone else could tell you the other thing, and we could both be correct, but the stones on the board are in a different position. Even if we're saying contradictory ideas, the stone context might change it, right? So it's very important to take the context into account. So it's, yeah, I understand it's very difficult to keep up with all of it. But fundamentally, what you really want to understand that is kind of true throughout every lecture is you want to see if there's something cuttable or not cuttable. And if it is cuttable, you need to figure out why they're not worried about it. Why are they okay with it? Because they might be talking about like Sabaki or something. You're just like, why do you have 3 or 4 cutting points? This doesn't make any sense. Getting cut is bad. And then once you understand like how Sabaki works, this is like 5Q plus, but once you understand that, oh, if they attack it, you just sacrifice one of the 3 stones and you connect the other 2. And you have like a Mii sort of connection out. And that could be like some advanced stuff. But the point is, whenever you hear anything, you want to always question about the cutting points. Any Joseki that you see, you want to question about the cutting points. And usually there is a reason that the cut doesn't work or we're not worried about it. And you need to know that before you apply whatever that lecture is telling you to apply.
Yeah. And I need to not have cutting points myself at all costs if I can. So
you need to always have a plan for your cutting point. I will not say you can't really play without ever having a cutting point. That's too optimistic, but we would ideally not have cutting points. And if we do, we either want to fix it or we just want to have a plan for it, like nets and ladders or squeezes or whatever. And then if we have a plan for it, then we know, okay, this is not a cutting point because if they cut, then I will just do this. And so therefore it's not a cutting point, therefore I can ignore it. Right? And we have to logic our way out of it. This is really good for you because you just connect everything and you capture the corner while doing it.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he played away there.
Yeah, so punish. When you have a habit of playing away, like even though the situation's not done. At least get one more move. Now you can confidently say that corner is safe, right? Versus here, you have to read this entire capture race. And I'm not convinced that you can read all of this.
I read it out like 5 or 6 moves, and it seemed okay, but I definitely didn't like read all the way to, you know, all the variations and stuff.
You need to read at least 8 here to know that you're okay. And I don't think 4 is obvious to a 12Q. Maybe if you can read it and you solve it, cool. Reading trumps every basic. Reading always trumps things, but your reading has to be really good to do that. Otherwise, just take this down. And now this is very easy to read. There's no cut.
Good point. Good point.
No issue. And what are they going to do? A 1-point jump? Who cares? Right? You just go reduce that.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, I was just like, oh man, they're getting a big Moyo. No.
Whenever you say, oh man, they're getting XYZ, never ever immediately try to stop it. The first thing you should do whenever you say they are getting, you need to say, what did I get for it? Okay, if they have something, you by definition need to have something as well. this is where counting comes in. You don't have to count perfectly, but you need to always understand that Go is an exchange rate game. So if they have something, that means you have something. If you don't have something, then you've done something wrong. Because by definition, if they got a Moyo, you should have gotten territory or a Moyo or killed something or whatever. So it's important to understand that you're either even, behind, or ahead, because that will change if you're going to play a reduction or an invasion or just ignore it entirely. Like, how do you know that this isn't bigger, right? You need to, whenever you see your opponent's like, hey, they're getting something, I want you to count the territory on both sides as best you can.
Okay. And to go back to that upper corner, taking that one stone pretty much seals that whole corner as mine, and I've got almost all 4 corners now compared to like something in the center you might get, you know.
If someone has all 4 corners, black resigns.
Yeah.
That's the proverb.
So yeah, that was bigger to take that and just like, I got almost all 4 corners now, and you go ahead and take the middle. I could have just
I honestly, though, I think you're still missing the point that this is a cutting stone. It connects everything if it's dead. And now, if you take this, anything that happens in this section, this corner is going to be okay. No matter what happens in this section, the corner's okay. That's kind of what it means, is like, I can fight in this area confidently. No matter what you're doing, I can handle it because my corner's alive and it's not going to get weak no matter what we do. That's kind of the confidence you want from that position.
All right.
My shapes are shoulder hits. I'm not sure if this was in the videos or not. This might have been more a couple years later after I recorded the videos, but playing on the line of influence is fine. But more commonly or easier to apply is shoulder hits and caps. These are kind of our first shapes. The other moves are possible. Like, there's a lot of moves to consider, but I don't really think we have the judgment to pick one. So I think just pick shoulder hits or caps and it's fine.
Shoulder hits or caps. Okay. I'll try to stick to
for
those.
a reduction specifically. I'm talking about a reduction.
All right.
But it's
so you
fine.
just shoulder hit or cap and then you jump. Out to the side. Right?
If they shoulder hit and then you jump. Yeah.
Okay.
What you did is not bad. It's just different. Okay. So that's all I'm saying. It's just a different way of playing. Now you're getting punished for ignoring H3, which is unfortunate. One more jump for safety is fine. Stay connected. Okay. Now we're getting close to endgame. If we don't have an obvious target, we could potentially just start endgame. But technically, I think we can cut off this left stone. I think it'd be nice.
Yeah, that's kind of what my next move. I don't think it was the best move.
It's fine.
After I played it, I was like, eh.
As long as your goal is good, should be fine. Yeah. You did play a knight's move, though. Did you check the cutting point?
No, honestly, I didn't.
Maybe here, then.
Yeah.
But technically, you're fine. Technically, the cut isn't that big of a deal, but I just want you checking these cutting points. I want to see this move. This one is just makes perfect sense. It's very basic, very solid.
Okay.
Because this is not a ladder. There's no ladder here.
Okay.
There's no net. So this one, I'm not sure what your plan for the cut is. And if you're not reading the cut, then you're definitely doing it wrong. Because you always got to read the cut. Okay, shoulder hit, push, jump is normally the follow-up. But in this case, they're probably going to no-be because of the double peep.
So always respond to a shoulder hit? Yeah,
shoulder hits are basically touching moves.
Okay.
If it's one stone, if they shoulder hit a group, that's different, right? But if it's one stone, if a shoulder hit of a one stone, then yeah, respond. Because if a single stone gets touched and shoulder hits are basically touching moves, you want to respond at least once.
Okay.
Okay, I like this. You fixed the cut with the ladder, but you also got territory while doing it. So I think that's nice. Okay, now you're getting cut up here.
Yeah, I read that out,
Um,
and I didn't think I could save it. Like, no matter what I did, I couldn't read out how I
if
could
only you
save.
had that move, right? Then you could just do
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to play if everything's strong. Okay.
So I was still kind of attacking that lower group, the side group of his on the right,
It
on the
looks
left
like
side.
you're getting cut in theory. Um, like they can cut you.
Okay. So I need to practice finding moves for my objectives that aren't cuttable, or that, yeah.
Yeah, you need to figure out what shapes are cuttable, what shapes are not cuttable. And then you need to be
Yeah.
strict with yourself when you play a shape that's cuttable. Like you need to have a very solid reason for it. Otherwise, you need to be playing things that are not cuttable, like um, just 1 point jumps, snowies, stuff like that. You need to have a good
Mhm.
reason to play an elephant's eye, which this is an elephant's eye, right? Diagonal 1 point jump. You need to have a
Yeah.
good reason and a plan to handle the cutting point. So you need to know the elephant's eye is cuttable. You need to know the Hane is cuttable. You need to know the knight's move is cuttable. And if you're going to play it, you need to say, this is what I'm going to do if they cut me.
Okay. Yeah.
If
This is a,
they, yep.
this is a bad idea. It was like, oh, I thought I read something out, but I was like, oh man, that was dumb, and it ended up
This
just
is
making him struggle.
another cuttable shape. This sort of L of the 1 point jump L,
Yeah.
the L 1 point jumps, um, has a double peep.
Right.
So how do you move up with the one space jump? Do you remember the shape, or do you know the shape?
Between them, like dog face or whatever they call
Yeah,
it.
dog space. So check
Yeah.
this one if you want to do that.
Okay.
This I think is trying to do your plan, but it's a stronger shape. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
I need to be more strict with shapes.
More specifically, cutting points, but yeah.
Yeah.
This is playing Sentei for Sentei's sake. That's helping your opponent.
Hmm.
This is not connected to anything. You're just gonna die. You should die here.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Okay. All right,
So
cool.
I
You
just kind of
fixed your
like,
cutting point. That's good.
yeah, I was like, whatever. I just gotta leave that to die because that was bad
Yeah, don't
moves.
invest on dead things.
Yeah.
I think you're in endgame now. Do you know why?
No, I'm not clear on end game stuff. Like
Okay. Are there any
when
weak
does
groups?
that's the criteria? Are there any weak groups?
Well,
If all groups are stable, end game starts. Is that what you mean?
if there's something in every square of the center, there's stuff in here, there's stuff in here, there's stuff in here, there's stuff in here, right? That means there's no big framework. Okay. If there's no weak groups and no big framework, it's endgame.
Okay.
That's kind of the criteria. I thought we weren't investing on the dead things.
Well, I thought that you'll see what I do. I was like, okay, if I threaten to connect, then I can get that.
Oh,
I can
then
like
just
attack
then
one
just
of
do
them.
it. Just do the
Yeah,
last
I
move
should have.
first. Yeah,
I
do
should
the
have
last
done
move
that.
first is a common proverb, I think. I think it's proverb. But do the last move in the sequence first and just threaten to do it. That way you don't lose the stone.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Uh, this has so many cutting points. Let's see. There's a elephant's eye. There is a knight's move. I don't know what you're trying to do.
I'm laughing nervously.
Okay. Actually,
Yeah.
if you can notice it, this one is not as obvious, but there is an L 1 point jump. It's just an L2 space jump.
Hmm.
So if you remember the weakness of the jump L, it's a double peep.
Oh, okay. What would the follow up be if he like blocked my lower stone? Where would I go after that?
You
I
actually
actually
play the move that you were playing. This is
Oh, I see.
that was the kind of the plan. The
Okay.
bigger concern is this one. Um, but
I actually
it
contemplated that
might
move.
be possible. I'm not sure. But anyway, I want you like noticing the shape weaknesses and then don't immediately play it, but read it. Like this is where our intuition says look here, and our reading says play it or don't play it. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Da-da-da-dum. Shoulder hit. I want to see in game here, 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 here. I want to see in game. I prefer this.
Yeah, I should have played that. Now I eventually get double Atari because of that.
Okay.
But
Okay. This is overplay because this will die.
hmm I was trying to connect to my stone on the
Someone said
inside there.
they prefer this. This is bigger, but right now our habits say fix our save our stones. That's why I'm not recommending this one. This one is worth more
Okay.
value because the difference in the value of A versus the value of B. So you're just saving the bigger one. But right now, I think it's more important that you understand that you want to save something, and then you can worry about which one to save.
Okay.
I don't know why you played here at all. There's no follow up or anything. It just doesn't make sense. Just connect or Tiger's Mouth actually. Tiger's Mouth is good.
Okay.
Because this is annoying. Maybe it's fine. What if I go here, here, and then here? No, you're still fine. Okay, maybe there's nothing. Maybe there's nothing. It just looks scary. Okay, okay, cool. Yeah. Basically, there's nothing, but it looked scary. All right, let's see how you handle the cuts here. Okay, okay. All right, cool. And you didn't get cut. Perfect. This one is small in-game. Nobody's in the in-game. Nobody's your friend.
Why is that?
So if you play this, the Hane, and they block, you have a cutting point. Now they have Sente. If you play the Nobi and they block, there's no cutting point. You have Sente.
It keeps Sente. Okay.
Yep. Just keep Sente as long as you can, and then get the big stuff and get the big moves as soon as you can. Yeah, basically that.
Yeah.
Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. Ah, double Atari.
Yeah. I was playing too quick at this point.
So is
I
your
have
opponent. So is your opponent. Oh no, you didn't notice. Oh, that's double Atari Go problems. That's just Go problems.
Well, I actually noticed the double Atari, but I was worried he was going to cut off my center stick. So
Oh.
he was aiming towards pushing through there and killing my whole center. So I was like, well, if he takes one stone, it's better than if he kills the whole center. So that's why I. Anyway.
Yes, but you got to show like yourself. How are they gonna cut? Like, where's the move? If you connect, where are they gonna cut you?
I was worried he was going to play E9.
E9. Okay. And then I connect. You connect, and I connect. And if you take, then I connect.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like you read 4.
I read to there. Yeah.
Okay. It's not bad reading, but yeah, you can read further.
Yeah. Got to read a little further, I guess.
Okay. This is better endgame, technically. That's funny. Good block. Yep. Tiger's Mouth is a little bit better because you get this follow-up.
Oh, okay.
No B.
It did end up letting me get this clamp though, which I think was how I
Nice.
clawed the game back because of this.
I
But
really hope you read this. You did. Awesome. Beautiful.
yeah. So I felt proud of myself for reading that out.
Yeah, good reading. Hold on. Hold on. This one's maybe not so good reading. Yeah, this one doesn't work.
Well, it turned out okay. Maybe he didn't read it either.
If I go here, what's the follow-up?
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
But he played it wrong, so
Yeah, but that doesn't justify you playing it wrong. Oh no, you forgot that this was a Tiger's Mouth.
yeah. So what's the warning signs when you have a one space jump? How do you know when it's in danger of being cut? You know what I mean?
Well, you have this diagonal, right?
Uh-huh.
The diagonal means you have the Tiger's connection. The weakness to the diagonal is the Tiger's Mouth of the diagonal, here or here. So whenever they play the Tiger of the diagonal, you need to double check that nothing got cut, nothing activated. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
So when they play right here, now if we play that same sequence, notice how it's a peep.
Right.
So this is actually a peep. Yeah, big blunder.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a monkey jump here. Actually, the monkey jump's gonna die. You should just go. All right, go problem time. What's wrong? You missed something. Black could punish you.
I have a cutting stone behind me, I think. On the O line.
Nope.
Don't know then. Oh, I thought you were talking about the other side.
Yeah, the problem is when they played this to stop the monkey, it activates this move. Your monkey activated the weakness. That's the problem. No, you have to connect right here. No, it doesn't work because of the yeah, that's also true. So just go right here. Now you're connected. Now you're connected. So there's two throw-ins you missed. Okay, you missed two throw-ins.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobi. I prefer connections, but whatever. Oh, your opponent had the Aji sense, but not the right move. He did see that one. And this is decently big. Sente moves. Sente moves. Sente moves.
Yeah.
Sente moves. I'm out of Sente moves. Then you can play. Oh no, Sente move. Sente move. Yeah, there's so many Sente moves.
Yeah.
There you go. This one's Gote though. That one's I guess that's as Gote as that one, isn't it? It's no difference. Good, don't play chicken moves. Okay, so probably the losing condition was these 3 stones. That's what cost you the game?
No, I actually won by 4 points.
Oh,
But
that's right. That's right. You won this game.
I would have
I remembered it was
won a lot.
close.
Yeah, I would have won a lot
Close.
more if I hadn't lost those.
Yeah. So which means you actually could have lost the game with that throw in.
Yeah, I could have.
Okay, so throw in moves, which let's see. Do I have a throw in category? I think I do.
Is it squeeze or?
I think there's a throw in and a squeeze, and they're both kind of the same thing.
I must admit I don't.
Yeah, throw in
They-
and
they're
squeeze.
hard. Okay, they're hard for me to see. Like something about that shape that it's weird for me. But
So the cool thing is, if it's hard for you to see, you just got to draw yourself on it. So let's do level 2. Let's make the go board bigger. Level 2. And then looks like there's 7 level 2. So let's actually, I want to click on custom because I prefer custom. Let's do squeeze, throw in, level 2 and level 3. That's over 100 problems. What is that, 114? 114 problems. Squeeze, throw in, level 2, level 3.
okay, would you write that in for me?
Yeah, and then do this 3 times.
All right.
Okay, where's
Can do.
notes. Okay, so squeeze and throw in level 2, 3, 114 problems. Do them 3 times. This is on the notes on the website, but do you want it in Discord?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Copy paste.
Okay. Oh, I just added that to the oops. I added that to the old lesson instead of the new one. Okay. There we go. Now it's on the new one. And the idea is what you're doing is just train your eyes to look for it. You're not trying to do hard problems. You're trying to make your eyes comfortable with seeing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what I need, just to be able to just spot it immediately.
Right. So if you have trouble noticing, that's when you do hundreds of easy problems.
Okay.
Yeah, do it 3 times, and then if it comes up in a game after you've done it 3 times, let's say a month or 2 passes, and you miss it again, do it another time. So do another 114, and then another month or 2 passes. If you miss it again, do another 114, and you're going to keep doing that until you just don't miss it. So even if you have to do this 10 times, as long as you just stop missing it eventually, you're just going to do this until you stop missing it. That's kind of the goal.
Very good. Anything else I should?
We spent quite a long time on this game, but I think it was good information. Questions?
Yeah,
questions? Anything I can elaborate on?
So as I'm playing, basically I'm asking what I should work on in my games this next little bit. Mm-hmm. I should work on. I'm trying to rephrase what I think I got from you. I should work on the part of the Colossi approach about the defense, like keeping making sure I have an actual base and not having cutting points. And before I go on any kind of attack, I need to take care of myself first. Is that what you would say?
Yes. The bigger thing I think you struggled with is you're not following up whatever you come up with.
Okay.
So remember you played on the bottom, but then you Tanuki'd into the 3 space, and then you Tanuki'd to the top right. So you're not following through. So yes, you want to make a base, but it's more like you played a move to make a base, but then you completely ignored the follow-up when your opponent responded. So yes, you want to make a base, but also you want to make sure that whatever the plan is, you want to make sure that you follow it up when your opponent responds, or if your opponent ignores, you need to punish at least for one move. So don't Tanuki so fast. Follow up your moves at least once. The base on top, understanding what it is and is not a base. I think that's important. Understand that you thought it was a base, but it had no foundation, so it's not a base.
Yeah.
What are the notes you got?
I think those are the main ones.
Okay. What are you doing for studying? How many games are you playing a day?
At least one. Usually it's more like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Just in the last week or so, and I'm going to try to keep that up.
Okay.
And I try to review them just quickly myself, but it's definitely extremely helpful to review it with you. So
yeah, I mean the teacher's nice, but we don't always have it. So learning how to review your own games is useful. I would say focus more on the losses, where you just spend like 5 minutes and you want to figure out what the lose condition was or what the story was, and just try to learn one thing from each loss.
Okay.
If they're resignations, you really want to understand, like, why did I resign? That's where you really want to understand, like, what caused the resignation. But typically, it's going to be like, I died, okay? When did you even get weak? Did you notice or not notice or whatever? But yeah, spend about 5 minutes on your losses at least. If you had a question with your wins, you can check it. But otherwise, I think it's fine to just play another game. Because your wins, it's basically like, you did exactly what you were supposed to do. So you're not really wanting to change anything. You just want to keep winning. Right?
Right.
How many Go proms you do a day?
Lately, quite a lot. I think I've done like 700 in the last week. So
yeah, keep that up. Keep doing that.
Okay.
Okay, so like 2 or 3 games a day, 100 Go proms a day.
Yeah. I'm retired now, so I have quite a bit of time. I'm spending like 2 or 3 hours on Go every day.
Congrats.
So. Yeah.
Retired from what? I saw in your profile that you were a business owner.
Yeah, I used to run a mattress store in my little town here.
Did you tell me that Did you tell me that before? I feel like
I don't remember. It was a while back. And before that, I was a real estate appraiser for over a decade.
It's always the real estate that gets the retirement, huh? Only the real estate people get to retire. But yeah, congrats on your retirement. It's awesome. I think that's all the advice I can think of right now. I think you're making good strides. It's just a matter of keeping it up. Let's set yourself a milestone. How many games do you have right now? 157. Let's get that to 500 ranked games. Like at a pace that you feel comfortable, but let's make that a target goal because that is a number that we can reach. It is a number that losses or wins don't matter. We can, as long as we put in effort, this number will increase no matter what. Right? It doesn't matter if we win, lose, as long as the number increases. So let's aim for 500 games, and let's see if we can hit 9Q by game 500. If you can't, it's okay, but it just gives us something to work towards. It gives us a goal to try to hit, right? And I think it's reasonable. But even if you don't hit it, as long as we're striving towards something. Also notice that you are now an average Go player. So you're not bad in the game anymore.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I really like this graph because it's like everyone's like, oh, I'm bad at the game. And they're like Dawn players are like, oh, I'm so bad at the game. And they're like over here. Like, oh, I'm so bad at the game. And they're like the top 1% on the server. But I think a lot of people don't understand that single digit Q is better than like half the people. So yeah, you're already like average. Point. Don't underestimate how strong single digit Qs are. Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, the better you are, the worse you get.
I will. I'd like to have a lesson with you once a week, so I'll set that up. But so this coming week, when you take a look at my account again at our next lesson. I will see if I can have no or very few resigned matches, and I'll try to work on those things we talked about. So cool.
I'm just writing down aim for 500 games and try to get 9Q by 500. Yeah. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the lesson, and I will see you, I guess, next week.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it very much. Take care.
Okay, and then I need to remember to upload this after the stream because my internet has horrible upload speeds at this place. Horrible upload speed. My download speeds are perfect and they're fine and dandy, but my upload speed is horrible. Horrible. I'll have to upload that after the lesson. Or after the stream. But yeah, how's everyone been doing? Did you guys enjoy the lesson? Find it helpful and educational? No, Bats is live, so probably I'll get off here soonish. It's not really much point in streaming against so much competition. Have you guys checked out the forum? I don't know who here has checked out. Oh, nice, Papa. That's awesome. The forum is a new feature. My hope with this is to get more communication in the community, so that way I can get better feedback for future development, and feature requests, and yada yada. It's not ridiculous at all. Like, literally, getting to 5 Dawn is learning half of the things. That's what Ensong told me. Right? Getting to 5 Dawn, you're either really good at fighting or really good at basics. Right? Fighting or basics. You're good at one of those two things. To get to 7 Dawn, you need both. So literally 5 Dawn to 7 Dawn is almost as difficult as 25Q to 5 Dawn. Because you have to you have to go find every little piece that you missed throughout all the Q ranks, and you have to say, which one did I miss? So you have to actually go back to all the Q stuff and figure out which one are you missing. Because you know a lot of it, but you don't know all of it. That's the tricky part. If you knew all of it, then you would be 7 Dawn instead of 5 Dawn. No. Stupid decent duck. Search duck or whatever that was. But yeah, I got this going. So you can leave feedback. You can hopefully have the start of a community rather than just you getting on and doing Go Problems alone. I'm hoping this will be the start of a community. I have a lot of vision for this site, but it doesn't really matter how many features I get if no one's using it. So I really need to build the community aspect and user aspect, I think, because I also want to make it so you can play 9x9 games on Smego Dragon. That was an idea I went to bed thinking about last night. It was like, oh, I could do this and then that and then that. But it doesn't really matter if no one's on the freaking app, right? It doesn't matter how great of a 9x9 thing I make if no one uses it. But interesting fact, I was looking at I was researching like the Go servers and stuff. Yesterday, I looked at GoQuest. GoQuest had 500 people online. 200 something games are being played. Right? 500 people online, 200 games are being played. OGS, 3,000 users, 100 games being played. Yeah, I want Smego Dragon to be like GoQuest. I don't think I want to compete with OGS. But like, obviously, I want you to be able to play 19x19. But OGS has to compete with Fox. I want to compete with like GoQuest. I would be happy with GoQuest level of users. Okay, I don't need like 3,000 or 100,000. I'd be happy with 500 concurrent users. There was some tournament today in China. That's cool. Yeah, that's kind of what I want though, is I want people playing the game and solving puzzles. Like the longer they're on the app, and that means usually the more they are getting out of the app, the more value they are getting out of it. And if I'm giving a lot of value, then hopefully I will get more customers. So by making my customer happy, hopefully they will make me happy and get sales. That's kind of the goal. Amateur Weiqi Championship. Third? I mean third. Shouldn't it be like the 20th or something in the 20s or 30s for an amateur Weiqi championship? It's interesting. I'm surprised it's only a third for something like that. Yeah. The forum's coming along. I'm stuck on a bug right now because when you create a post, right now you can only select text, but I'm also going to let you select SGF files. And what I want you to do is you can ask for reviews of games and stuff. And that's what I'm stuck on today. But then after that, I also want to add a user is online detection, and then start tracking my concurrent users, and then maybe I can start working on an IMA9, even though it's not going to be used. Like, on the one hand, I love making new features. On the other hand, it's really bumming me out whenever I release something and no one uses it. If you start solving Sumego on Sumego Dragon and guaranteed to rank up on Fox, no. If you start solving Sumego on Sumego Dragon, it will increase the value of each game on Fox that you play. You will learn more from each game on Fox, and it'll be multiplied by the amount of Go problems that you do. Be like decimals multiplication, but you know, it'll have an impact. See, 5-Dan. What sort of Go problems did you do as a 5-Dan? I know I've been focusing on life and death. Know what you should do? I don't know. There's a feature on here that I feel like a lot of people don't know about. It's not on the main page, which is one of the things that I need to do as well, is put it on this. I think you should go until you get 100 mistakes. Maybe click on custom. Yeah, click custom. Or go to the puzzle path, that's fine as well. And then you should click all. And then let's see, your 5-Dan, so do level 4, level 5. Maybe level 6. Either way, do those, thousands of puzzles, and then go until you have 100 mistakes. Once you have 100 mistakes, you're going to go back to the main page, and you're going to say, what am I bad at? What sort of puzzles am I bad at? Because once you have 100 mistakes, it'll actually show you this is what you're bad at. So I'm bad at taking eyes and making eyes and sometimes goes. Honestly, this should go up to like maybe 500. But that causes a lot of lag, but maybe 500 mistakes would be better. Either way, this takes your last 100 mistakes and it'll show you what you're bad at. Now, there's not a button right here, but I believe if you click on more, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. I'll show you something that's apparently hidden unintentionally. If you go to sumegodragon.com/stats, I believe. STATS. I think it's stats. I really need to put this button on the homepage. But there's a cool button. It is generate practice lists. This is a single button click. It takes your top mistakes and the level that you make the mistakes at, and it'll generate you a practice list based on the two graphs right here. So mine will probably generate me life and death problems, and maybe a couple codes. And it'll generate you either a 50 list or a 100 list. 50, it generates you 50 problems. Hello, Vexel. Yes, I did make the forum feature. Got that done pretty quickly. And looks like level 4. Level 4, level 4, level 4, level 6, 7. Yeah, 6. 6. Level 4, level 4, level 4, level 6. Yeah, and it'll generate you a practice list based on what you're bad at. I'm not sure if it's premium only. Okay. So it's not on the dashboard, which I need to put it on there. That is on me. That's my bad. But if you go to semegodragon.com/stats, STATS, stats, generate practice list will generate it based on the mistakes that you have made. The load mistakes list will load the problems that you've missed. The generate practice list will generate a random list based on this information. That's what these two buttons are. So you can either review recent mistakes or generate a list based on your mistakes. Yeah, I think it's a really cool feature that no one uses. Probably because I didn't put it on the homepage. My bad. Okay, my bad. Do you know the rules of captain race on Suhiro? What's Suhiro? I'm so bad at marketing. I'm so caught up in like making the website better that I keep being bad at marketing. SemegoHero.com. Under maintenance. No, don't you start improving your crap too. Between 101 Wei Chi, GoProblems.com, people need to stop being competition for me, okay? Just let me be the best Semego app out there. Semego-Hero. Okay, cool, they're not updating. Rules of capture and races. Oh man, they're catching up to my uploads. Dang, that sucks. I need to get more on top of that. Invasion Hero, that's really cool. What is their copyright on these things, on these problems? Like, is it fine for anyone to just take these? This is not in English! How do I know if I can steal your stuff? If you don't give me permission to steal your stuff. Okay, I need to translate this. I need to know what the rights are to your website. ChatGPT. Translate this to English. We cannot guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or timeliness. As server presider, we own the content of these pages according to something under general laws. We are not obligated as a service to provide and monitor transmitted or stored external information to investigate circumstances that indicate illegal activity. I have no idea what that's implying. Obligations to remove or block use of information under general laws remains unaffected. Liability, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Can I take Go problems off this site and upload them to Semego Dragon, or no? They're from commercial books or paid apps. Oh, you mean like collections and Semego Dictionary Volume 3 books? Like, is that what you mean when you say Go books? Or a structured learning course like, I don't know, Korean Academy books? What is this? Korean Problem Academy 1, 2, 3, and 4? Would that be copyright protection? I don't know, man. I don't know. It feels like more copyright protection than what I've got. Mega Hero might have mixed licensing, so you need to check the terms of use or copyright notes. That's what I just gave you, I thought. Legal notice about. Ooh, Jago board. I haven't looked at Jago board. What is Jago board? Pure HTML5 canvas Go board that can be easily manipulated in JavaScript. I should look into this. I have WGO and I have the other one that they cited, which was Physigo, but I don't have Jago board. Hey, you love the set rules. Rules. Find. Yeah, but Sabaki's not in JavaScript. So I can't use Sabaki. Capture race. The rules of capture race. Oh my gosh, these problems are so hard to make, okay? You've no idea. I would have more capture race problems, but the problem is you have to make a branch for every single move. So right now there's 4, and then there's 3. So 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Problems change every time. So I'm assuming you meant each problem. The set is dynamic? What? What? How? $15Q? No, this is not 15Q. This is 9Q. That's completely wrong. This is like 20Q. This is 20Q. It is different every time. Dang. I still hate it. I still hate the site, but I don't know. I think the site's like really ugly. But overall, it's still a nice site. I love the problems on the site. Oh, you don't play it out. Okay. It's just a question. That makes sense. I don't know how they're doing it dynamically. They might just be randomizing it. I don't think it's dynamic. They might just be randomizing it. I don't like old style websites, but that's just my opinion. It's a good site. I just don't like how it looks. I also don't like how they organized it, but I'm very biased on organization. status problems. Status problems feel annoying to code. Like, basically, I would have to make capture races its own separate feature. That's the problem. Capture race problems are really nice. I think they're really, really helpful. But they're so annoying to make for an SGF file. There's so many branches. So yeah, having a status would be really good for capture races, but that means I have to make an entire feature just for capture races. If there was demand for it, I would do it. But I feel like this is like one of those, it's really annoying. Liberty counting is a very useful skill though. Okay, I think I know what to do. This white string is dead. Which means everything but this white group is dead. This is the only dead thing, or alive thing. This is dead because it's eyes versus no eyes. Whoever plays first wins. What? Can I play it out? Can I download the... No! I was looking at that! Don't change it on me! I was looking at this. Oh my gosh, this is so ugly to look at. How do I change the skin? I want to download it. I want to play it out. I want to explore. Why can black not just fill the liberties right here? Oh, snap. Because if you start filling these, then this one will get captured. This one's an Atari. Hold on. How can I get it to Explore Biduk? If I could get it on Explore Biduk. Okay, white plays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15, 15, 17. What does this want from me? This is a bad Go problem. I mean, it's a liberty counting exercise, so it's just like count the liberties of every group, but like, what does it want? So I want to say white wins. Black should capture this entire string. In the process, Oh, I see. I see. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 moves to capture this string. But white can capture this group first. If white goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's 15 to 15. That's what it's after. That's what it's after. That's what it's after. Okay, whoever plays first gets it. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. You know what it could do? In the SGF editor I got, I believe you can put words on the Go board. And I can just make the correct answer one of the words. So for example, how do I do it? Maybe I can't do it with the editor. Maybe I can only do it in code. Okay, I can do it. Okay, okay. What's the max letter count? Is it 3? Yeah, it looks like I can only do it with 3. Black plus white plus, and then we'll say black or white. Yeah, that type, like I could do that, right? But it would have to have an explanation. I don't know. Feels like a unnecessary amount of work for something that people aren't going to care about that much. Maybe someday. I've done 200 problems this month, and I haven't even been trying to do Go problems. All right, I think we will go ahead and call it here. Nice chatting with you guys. Yeah, today's not a review day. That will be tomorrow. And then Friday, I will be leaving to go to a tournament, so no reviews Friday. Yeah, so tomorrow will be the review day. So play games and come tomorrow. All right, with that, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.